Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every breath, every step is holy. Every step is holy. Every breath is life. Every moment precious when held up to the light. Every heart connected, each the face of God. Grace has shown me every step is holy. Every step is holy.
Oh, we love you, Gary Lynn Floyd. Yes, we do. And you know, when we have our musicians virtual like this, you know, we do tithe to them. So he will receive our gift just like he gave us his gift. It was beautiful. Everything's holy. So welcome. I am Reverend Sharon Dunn-Alberg. I'm the senior minister here at the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living, where we believe that you can change your life by changing your thinking. We're going to talk about that today. So I hope everyone had a good 4th of July. I sure did. I want to say that we got to see the fireworks from the Delta this year. And at the same exact time, about 9:30 at night, when the fireworks went off, the full moon rose. So here we were watching the fireworks and the full moon rise at the exact same time. I wasn't quite sure which one was the most magnificent. So what a gift this year was. It was just beautiful. And as we started last week with the first of the month of July, we do have a book of the month, which was actually our book of the month in January of 2022. And I must say, it's not bad to repeat this book over and over and over, because I believe everyone would benefit by having this book right on your bedside table. This is a wonderful book. What's in the Way is the Way by Mary O'Malley. And we actually use this book, Dr. David Bruner used this book for us in our 32-week inward journey that we took together. So this is a wonderful book. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. So it is my pleasure to introduce our practitioner of the day, Margie Lukefeld. She is an amazing practitioner of truth. This woman is absolutely divine. So pray us in, Margie.
Thank you, Reverend Sharon. And taking a deep breath and breathing the essence of the one power, the one only power within you. Breathe it in, and I invite you just go into that sacred place and know that this one power is here right now in this holy time and this holy place. As I know that for us and me and everyone listening on Zoom and YouTube and etc., I know that we are all one. And as we together engage and be in this time of message, music, love, community, we just bless our service today together, enjoying all that it is, and so it is. Thank you. And now for our readings. When a problem confronts you, take it into silence of your consciousness. Instead of thinking of the problem, think of the answer. God does not have problems. Therefore, the divine mind is the answer to every human problem. Principles never have problems. Problems are solved by bringing them under the control of principles. The problem is dissolved as the principle flows through it to the correct answer. Ernest Holmes, This Thing Called You. The power in people that attracts or repels is almost entirely mental and spiritual. An active and dynamic mind creates activity where it goes, while mental drowsiness has a reverse effect. Since these things are true, and since we may all learn to control our thinking and govern our emotions, it follows that anyone may surround oneself with an atmosphere of happiness, of peace, of enthusiasm, and of right action, thus drawing to our center those things which makes life worthwhile. Ernest Holmes, Creative Thinking. The approach to spirit is directly in our own mind, but the mind cannot accept what it rejects. We either believe or we do not. We cannot believe and disbelieve at the same time. We cannot walk two ways at once. We must learn that the mind can, if we desire, be controlled so that we can gradually come in to the habitual state of thinking the way we choose to think. This can only be possible when we recognize that thoughts are things. Science of Mind magazine, August 1962, page 5. And our affirmation this morning in prayer. It's affirming.
There is only one power, one presence, the source and the substance of all. Behind and through all seen and unseen, this infinite love is what breathes me. It is the breath This love is what blesses each moment in time. It is here in this moment called now, showing me how to live my life in peace. Thank you, Spirit, for this day. Here and now.
I greet this day with love. The love in my heart and the love all around me. Today I look for love in everyone and everything. I am open to blessings and I am open to bless others. I welcome new growth, new opportunities, and divine surprises. Spirit amplifies and expands my good today, and I see and appreciate this expansion. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for paving my way with blessings and love. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for all you are and all I am in you. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for this day.
This love is what blesses each moment in time. It is here in this moment called now, showing me how to live my life in peace. Thank you, Spirit, for this day. Here and
It's so beautiful. So beautiful. That's Melissa and Z. And we hope very soon that they come to our center. Can everyone hear me okay? Wonderful. Wonderful. So good morning. We are still working with the annual theme of Living Out Loud, which has been my favorite so far. Living Out Loud. And for July, we are speaking truth to circumstance. And this is a takeoff of speaking truth to power, which we're going to talk about. So Ram Dass says, it is often easier to fight an external enemy than to confront one's own inner demons. My own inner work does as much for my fellow person, for my fellow man, for my fellow woman, as for myself. So it's often easier to fight an external enemy than to confront one's own inner demons. Wow. This is talking about paying attention to self, isn't it? So today's topic, I'm very excited about it. I thought it was a unique idea that I had thought of, but it turns out the other people have also used this term. My topic today is spiritual politics. Wow, I'm going to talk politics from the pulpit. I'm looking forward to that. And what I mean by that is, if you think about politics, now here's my definition. Politics is simply defined as the activities associated with governance, having or hoping to achieve power. Politics. So I'm going to talk about spiritual politics, and I define my own definition by Reverend Sharon, is spiritual politics is governing or controlling the direction of our lives using the power of God within us. So it's still talking about governing and controlling, isn't it? And one thing I want to tell you is that we have what we call the Declaration of Principles, written by Ernest Holmes, the teacher and founder of Science of Mind. And this is kind of what we believe, if you will. This is what we believe. And this one says, we believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. And I do want to say that amongst my colleagues, this idea of using the word control, it's an agitator, but I'm going to make you love it by the end of this talk. I'm going to have you right on board with me that control is a very powerful word. And the things I'm going to talk about today, the three things is spiritual politics, speaking truth to power, and control of conditions. This is where we're going today. So in spiritual politics, it's built on the foundation of respect for self and others. Okay, so we are going to talk about self and others in politics, but today we're kind of focused more on self. We're focused more on self. And of course, what's good for the self always must be good for others. And from this spring of hope, virtues happen, such as fairness, spirit of service, which is what we're doing here right now, the goal of achieving a prosperous and peaceful world. As I talk about it in general, also remember to look at it within. What a beautiful idea of fairness, spirit of service, and a prosperous and peaceful world within us. This is delicious. It would engender empathy, patience, and acceptance of the different. Oh, wouldn't this be a wonderful world? Acceptance of the different. Also, it is rooted in respect for self and others. And it seeks to unify and harmonize. Am I talking about a utopia? Kind of sounds like it. Although I believe it's achievable. And if I believe it's achievable, I believe that from the one mind. I believe this is possible and that we contribute and influence this possibility. We can't be overwhelmed by what's going on out there. We have to remember we are influencers. We can participate and change the world. Of course, we start with self. And anything that disrupts, divides, or furthers disharmony is considered a negative force. And it says it's not spiritual, but we know everything is spiritual. We know everything is God. But just like Margie was reading earlier, there's no problems in God. Problems are the gift Spirit gives us by giving us free will. Our problems are free will run riot, and we get to do that. And so when I say that it is not spiritual and that it furthers disharmony, I mean that we also can change that dynamic. And so I'm going to talk about how that is. So speaking truth to power, And I know that Reverend Patricia is going to really enjoy this. Speaking truth to power is a nonviolent political stance to oppression, authoritarianism, and idiocracy. Right? Speaking truth to power is a stance to that. It's a neutralizer. My boat is really rocking right now. So if you're wondering why my view is rocking, I am rocking quite a bit in my boat, which is where I am this morning, coming to you live from the California Delta. But here's the part I thought Reverend Patricia would really enjoy. The phrase "speaking truth to power" originated from a pamphlet, "Speak Truth to Power, a Quaker Search for an Alternative to Violence," published by the American Friends Service Committee in 1955. It was a Quaker. It was a Quaker phrase. And of course, it's been used from then. Speaking truth to power is also the title of a global human rights initiative under the auspices of Robert Kennedy. And in Greece, speaking truth to power was known as parrhesia. Parrhesia. It's also a tactic, what they say, a tactic similar to satyagraha, which literally means truth force, which Mahatma Gandhi used seeking independence from British India. So it's been used quite a bit. We use it today. It's a wonderful idea of speaking truth to power. And I am going to share it as in speaking truth to power in the power of our word. And how we can change our own experience in life by speaking truth to power. And truth is spiritual principle. And we know what that is, because that is principle, meaning what is true for all. Love, light, harmony, peace, joy, abundance. It's all that is good. That is the truth with a capital T. And by speaking into that, we give attention to it, collapsing it into our experience. And that is absolutely what we're here for. So when we speak truth to power, we are understanding the beliefs we speak of. Remember, I have said, I know what you believe by what you say. And I think, Ruth, if you wouldn't mind putting up that review slide for us, and knowing that this is going to be archived so that you can go back to this idea, you can go back to this slide at any time. But the anatomy of belief, why I say I know what you believe by what you say, is because starting with encounter, we encounter something new. We react to it. We have an emotion. And then we think about that emotion and we name it, which turns it into, identifies it as a feeling. And then that feeling becomes a belief. Thank you, Ruth. So I can always tell what you believe by what you say, because backed by your word is quite a process of developing that feeling that we identify with. So this is really important to speaking truth to power. We can also speak truth to negativity, can't we? I'm no good. I'm not enough. I'm not good at that. I can't do that. I'm too old. Blah, 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 right? So we have to be very careful what power we are speaking into. We want to make sure that we are really disciplined, to really mindful of what we're speaking to. And remembering, of course, words are things. So spiritual politics, speaking truth to power, is using science of mind, spiritual mind treatment, which is our affirmative prayer, and knowing the truth that there is only God, the power we speak of. So last but not least, we're already lasting but not leasting. Control of conditions. I'm pretty darn excited about this idea. Ernest Holmes says, people often say, and I sent this to our practitioners this week, people often say it must be a drain on one to treat so many people. This is what we call treatment or praying for people, Okay. I should think the practitioner's willpower would become exhausted. This is a misconception, Ernest Holmes says. Our reference to free will means merely the matter of self-choosing, the matter of deciding what we shall think. We decide what we think. Willpower has nothing whatsoever to do with mental healing. Its use would imply that the practitioner exercises a personal thought force over his patient. This is a false suggestion, which is always some form of hypnotism. Knowing our oneness with God in the creative medium, law, our treatments are free from the thought of control. We're not controlling by willpower, are we? We are controlling our thinking. That's the difference there. We're not controlling other people because we're out of control. The power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events is the definition of control. Let's look at that again. Control, the way I'm using it today. The power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. It's to neutralize if it's a negative situation, circumstance, or condition. So Patricia talked last week about control as manipulation, about forcing our will onto another, when she said almost always comes from fear, doesn't it? And also that lands in the first kingdom of consciousness, where we actually have no control. So we attempt to control others. And Ruth, again, if you could throw that review slide up there so it's available to everyone, should they look at this talk again and want to remember the kingdoms of consciousness. This particular diagram is done by Michael Bernard Beckwith, Reverend Dr. Beckwith. And so we have that first kingdom of consciousness is life happens to me, remember? And what we're aiming for is to be in the fourth kingdom of consciousness where life is happening as me, where I have control over my thinking, not of others, not of situations, circumstances, and conditions. No, we're not doing magic here. What we have control over is the direction of our thought. That's the power. Thank you, Ruth. And so this idea of respect for self then would be talking about control as in using the power of divine mind and divine law. That's what we're controlling. And that's what Ernest Holmes is suggesting or declaring in our Declaration of Principles. He's saying, yes, we can control conditions by the power of this mind, that of the one mind. So semantics. But from the beginner, for the beginner in first, who lives in at this point, who has developed up to the first kingdom of consciousness, controlling could be used differently. So I wanted really to clarify that this morning. Isn't it nice to have that actual understanding of this particular declaration in our Declaration of Principles? So this is the basis of science of mind. We can change our thinking by change our thinking and thus change our life. This is the science of mind using quantum mechanics. So I know I can't change someone else. I can only change myself. We know this, unless, of course, someone is asking a practitioner and becoming the receptor, right? We want a receptor, someone receiving the agreement in mind. That's what we're doing here. We are receiving the agreement in mind. We're not counting on another person to do voodoo over us or hypnosis. I guess voodoo is a little more with the pincushion. So even though I say that, remember, even the practitioner has to know first in one's own mind before they can know for someone else. This is not magic. This is not where we as practitioners who have our license, we can then say upon you, believe this and believe that. No, no, no. It's done in consciousness. Consciousness is the one mind. Consciousness. And I got so excited this week because for the very first time, I understood the song by Lennon and McCartney, Strawberry Fields. I mean, when I was listening to Strawberry Fields way back in the day, well, I shouldn't go into that probably and what my state of mind was. But anyway, I heard it this week differently than I've ever heard it before. Think about when John Lennon and Paul McCartney and the Beatles sing, "Living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. It's getting hard to be someone, but it all works out. It doesn't matter much to me." Oh my gosh, this is living unconsciously, isn't it? This is not being awake. This is living in Strawberry Fields, where living is easy with eyes closed. It isn't easy to live with eyes open, is it? And to monitor and have a discipline on our thinking so that we have the absolute outcome that we're looking for. No, we're in reactions and emotions and influences of things outside, the news and so on and so forth. Family dynamics. There's all kinds of things that can influence us and change us in a second, change our mood. We can jump into confusion quickly just by our reactions to things. So living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. It's getting hard to be someone, but it all works out. Remember? Oh my gosh, I was so excited to see it this way. Now I want to go back and listen to the Beatles a little more. They were kind of deep back then. I think that's when they were with the Maharishi in India, being a little under the influence. Or we can live out loud, which is our theme, our annual theme, in our full power, manifesting the life we desire and being influencers in the world around us. Spiritual politics is a discipline of mind-body response and approach. Just like we are being influenced by politics. Remember, politics is governance with the hope and desire to have power. Spiritual politics, then, is the same thing. It's governance with the hope and desire, and then finally an intention and conviction that we can live in our full power, living out loud in our full power. And here is another word for control. If you haven't gone on board with me yet, on board, that's a good thing since I'm on a boat. Here are other words for control. Mindful governance. You like that one? Mindful governance. Spiritual authority. I like that one. Dominion. And last, and there's more, but I won't keep you in the dictionary all Sunday morning. The last then is sovereignty. What a beautiful word. And if we look at these words in the context that I'm sharing them, we basically can live in our spiritual politics at the same time we're living in our politics, world politics, more mindfully. You know, this week, as you know, I've been taking this class with Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadley. The first class was Forgiving the Shadow. And this next class is just forgiveness. It's just a class on forgiveness. And I've known for a long time that she's been doing this work, and I have been resistant. But this week, she taught us about non-judgment. And I'm very fascinated by this idea of non-judgment. I really got to see myself in a different light this week because I got in a dyad with another minister. And mind you, this particular 6-week course is ministers only. Ministers only. So we get to be our authentic, unhealed selves together. We get to be kicking and screaming down the road to transformation. We get to be with our colleagues without any kind of filter. It's just been beautiful. And I got into a dyad with the loveliest human being. And you've probably done this exercise before where one doesn't tell a story, but just sits there and says, I'm sorry. The partner in the dyad says, I forgive you. The other person then comes with, I'm sorry. And you do this for 8 minutes. And at times you're using what you're really sorry for, hopefully at all times. And the other person then is that person that you can hear that I'm forgiven and loved. So what did I do? I judged the sincerity of the person telling me that she forgives me. Does she really? Is that authentic? And when when it felt authentic, I cried. I'm like, oh my gosh, she really is forgiving me. When I got back to the class, I shared, how judgy I was in our non-judgment exercise. And everyone laughed because I wasn't alone. Because we do judge everything. We have to. That's our survival. As we've talked about before, we have to judge everything, everything, And so I just found it very interesting that I was given permission to let down my defenses and to open my heart. And even then, with a colleague, and even then, I treaded lightly, somewhat afraid. And when I let that down and when I opened my heart, I felt unbelievable atonement, at-one-ment. I was literally happy to report that I, as an integrated Catholic, loved the sacrament of confession. I loved it so much because it gave me an opportunity to do that very thing, to unburden myself and to take the penance as an opportunity to feel the, once again, at-one-ment, that atonement. So please hear me, that this idea of living out loud, this idea of our spiritual politics, of governing ourselves, includes forgiveness. Everything seems to include forgiveness. And of course, what we give attention to expands. So if we are giving our attention to mindful governance or having dominion over our lives, wow, what a life. Isn't that the life we seek? That's the life we seek. So in order to complete here, I want to make sure that I this is the other thing. I judge my new experiences by my old experiences. I'm not even starting fresh. Does anyone else judge new experiences by old experiences? Like, for example, that happened to me before, so I can expect it to happen again. That's never worked before, so it won't work now. These are some of my go-tos. I've never had that, so I never will. Statistics say that at stage 4 cancer, I will die according to the statistical timeline. She's doing that to me like my mother did. I've tried that once and failed, so I'm not trying that again. Now I want to pay attention to what someone else is doing so I don't have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I like that one. I'm not going to do my life right now. I think I'm just going to do yours. I'm going to do your life. I'm going to be all up in your business. because that would be really nice that I don't have to be up in my own business. That's my favorite. I can't leave because I'm not safe. I have to stay in this relationship. I've never considered that option, so this will be all new to me. When I give people that come to me for spiritual practitioner session, and I give them an assignment to stop paying attention to the other, it's like, what? I can't, just 1 week, just for 1 week, pay attention to yourself. Do yourself. You do you. 1 week, you do you. I can't even do that for 5 minutes. I don't know if you've ever been up in someone else's business. I learned about compassionate listening. Compassionate listening is literally forgetting for a moment anything that's ever come before. For 1 week, will you join me in this idea of compassionate listening? You know, and when the thoughts come in, when you start relating to what the person's saying, stop. Because you're relating from your past. And the past has no precedence over us. So this week we're going to we're going to mindfully govern ourselves and our spiritual politics by compassionate listening. And we're going to indulge in spiritual politics by mindfully governing our thoughts so that we are not projecting onto someone else. And we are not meeting new experience by what happened before. This is super exciting. Listening from curiosity, not the desire to be right. That's a tough one. I had to admit that in class as well. I felt like I actually went to confession this last Thursday in class. It felt very good. Listening from my heart, not from my position. That was really tough. In the dyad, I was listening to listen. I wasn't really listening. I was listening to listen to. I was listening to become willing to listen, to become willing to listen. Okay. Am I the only one that does any of this? Come on, God. Just give me some love here. Just give me some love. Listen with wonder, not the need to win. Listening begins with me. So we can, this is what I'm going to leave you with. You know how you've heard that assume trust? Just assume trust in this situation. Well, I want us all to assume love for one another and assume love for ourselves. Assume love for one another. Be sure that we are one. Remember the oneness and the unity of all life. And remember that we all want the same thing, that love, that understanding, and that acceptance. And we can assume that my prayer is your prayer too. Let us pray. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. I am so glad to know there's one power, one power, one love, one unity, one life, one light, one harmony, one joy, one peace, one abundance. And this is eternal. This is immortal. This is forever, always was, always will be. The Creator creating creation. And so I know I am that creation. I am that one life. I am that love and harmony and peace and joy and all that is good. And I know that for each one of us because we're connected in it, because we all use the same one mind. We have the eternal mind at hand always, in every situation, every circumstance, every condition. We have access to the one mind. That is power. That is power. And so spiritual politics is the governing, using that one power, nothing else. So I release everything that has come before, everything. It does not have power over me. My past has no power over me. And my past has no power over anyone else. I meet every day brand new. I am mindfully governing. I have dominion and sovereignty over my mind and my life. I know this for each of us. This is powerful. And not only is this powerful, but what a world of wonder we live in that we all have this. Everything else is in the past. And so I'm grateful to know this one power is my power. And I'm grateful to add into this prayer everyone on our prayer list. I'm grateful to add everyone who has requested prayer into this powerful word I am declaring, that each one of us is perfect, complete, and whole in the power of this oneness, of this unity, and that we are influencers for each other. Wholeness is the truth of our being. Intelligence is the truth of our mind. Love is the truth of our hearts. I am so grateful. And so I speak peace into the world, knowing that it goes out and touches every sentient being, all life. And so I release my word into the law, knowing that it is so, because the law makes it so. And together we say, and so it is. Ashe. Amen.
One power, one power,
Exactly.
one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. The different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. Whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power. Oh, one power is what we are. One power. One power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. What we are is one forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
Oh, thank you, Ruth. That was amazing.
Oh, wow. It's our offering time. That was something. And giving financially is a sacred service. And when we give, we activate and we increase our own flow of good. So this spiritual practice gets easier as you notice the increase in your abundant life. And I certainly have. Giving to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living supports our vision, our mission, and our purpose. So please go to our website and find our P.O. Box mailing address right here on the screen. And you could send us a check. You can use the donate menu on our website for PayPal or credit card. And we do appreciate your tax-deductible support. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. And here's our abundance affirmation. Say it together. Abiding by the law of circulation and in heartfelt gratitude, I affirm that I live in a creative and abundant universe that continuously flows in and through and out as me, expressing as the ever-expanding infinite good. And so it is. And here's our latest news. Drum roll.
Margie, thank you so much for that. You know, I want to add a little bit to our abundance practice this time, because what we're noticing is when we're virtual, it's different than we're in person when the basket's literally physically going around the room. There's something about a physical basket going around the room that people put things into it. And there's something about the virtual world that there's no basket going on. And so when you said so brilliantly, like that we have a donate button on our website, that's a powerful thing for us to say, because right now we are remodeling our new center. We are remodeling, we are demolishing walls and putting, we'll be putting up sheetrock and new toilets, and yes, I'm talking on Spiritual Sunday about toilets. And what I'm talking about is that we really appreciate your support, and specifically towards our new building, towards opening up. And please understand that when you push that donate button on our website, you are putting your support in our basket. We still have bills, don't we, Ruth? We've got bills. We've got, we've got bills to pay. We've got salaries to pay. We've got to come together at this point in our time and realize that to be sustainable, to be good stewards, it takes that green and silver, does it not? So I really appreciate you, Margie, and I appreciate you talking about our abundance and affirming abundance with us. But we're really, really looking forward to support. So what else do we have for announcements? I think we've got some other announcements here. Yes. If you notice, we said yes to the address, and I want you to know that on the left is our actual building. And that's what our sign will somewhat look like, even though this was done in Photoshop. And there'll be also a sign on the side where you see the side of the building. And next to us in the other picture where the green arrow is our building right next to Dutch Brothers. So we'll have a sign there, and we'll have a sign on our building on the side where Dutch Brothers is. So this is our new home, and we are making it our new home, and we would love your support. So we have been having our town hall meetings on the first and third Sundays. We just had one last Friday. We are recording them. If you'd like to have a copy of the recording, let us know. But we are really looking at the budget for our building, talking about what's new. They're putting a brand new roof on the whole building, which is going to take a little more time than we thought. So we won't probably not have our soft opening on the 23rd, but we will start meeting live. So next Sunday, we are going to be meeting live, and we will give you that information via an email blast. So only the people on our database will know where the meeting will be. So if you want to know what's going on, get on our database. And our next slide then is next Saturday is our Serving the Underserved, which is we're partnering with the cafe, which is clothes and food for everyone. We've had this going on for a long time. Our beautiful minister of this of the outreach ministry, Linda Connolly, our outreach practitioner who now lives in Canada, has really created a wonderful event. And so please check this out. It's on our website. It's on the front page of our website as well as in our events. So come next Saturday, be with us in the park. And last but not least, do come to our website. Everything we're up to is on that website. So please come and see us. Now, today very well might be one of the last days we're on Zoom. As far as our Sunday service goes, we're going to be YouTube live, meaning that we're going to actually be together with live music next Sunday. So you'll see us. Just know that if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get an automatic message when we get online. So make sure you subscribe, come to our Sunday service through YouTube live, or come in person and be in our audience as we go live on YouTube. All right. Now back to you, Margie. Thank you, dear.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and our prayer request, we just so grateful to be able to pray over your requests, and we especially love when we hear back how things are going, which is usually, I would say, 99.9% positive, and because we believe in prayer and it works. Just so many grateful people that are grateful that text us and let us know how things are going. We just love to pray. So please, www.csl.org sacscsl.org. And yes, do that. And here's our speaking truth to circumstances. And please keep this with you all week. And say with me, I wake up to the truth of spirit that I am. Thank you. And in gratitude for the service today and the beautiful message that we've received and we take with us all week. And even checking in to recap the message if we so choose during the week through YouTube. And knowing that the service is complete, perfect, and whole, that we're all complete, perfect, and whole. We bless each other as we go through our week, knowing all is well. And so it is. Thank you. Stay with us for a fellowship after our closing song with Gary Lynn Floyd. Thank you.
Love be with you, love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth come through you, make good flow to you, and let joy renew you. Till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Sing that with me. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. Spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you. I love you all.